everyone. Welcome to the. That's how it's done. Welcome to 2026 town meeting. This is the school portion. I would like to call it to order. It is 10 o'clock on the dot. My name is Mary Gagne. I am the chair of the school board for Westfield. And welcome everyone. At this stage, I would like to say a pledge of allegiance to the flag if everybody would want to join me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. So, first order of business, Article 1 would be electing a moderator for a term of 1 year. I'll put that up to the floor for elections for a moderator for the school portion.
I'll nominate Pat Sagley.
Pat?
I've been the town moderator for a number of years. I'm happy to accept the nomination. I just cannot perform the duty this year for health reasons, which you can probably hear. And that's it. You can still appoint me, you can still vote me in, but someone will be appointed, separate procedure to actually run today's meeting. Thank you.
Are there any other nominations before we move forward with Pat? Okay, so then we do only two votes. Okay. All those in favor? Aye. Aye. Any nays? That has it. We're moved. So moved. Okay. You can tell this is my first time doing this. Good job. For the support, everyone. So we will move forward with Pat. As the school board, we would like to. I will make a motion to appoint Lauren Tetzel for this specific meeting to do the moderator position in place of Pat.
Then just speak.
Can we get a second?
I will second that. Welcome.
All in favor?
Aye.
Is that it? Okay. You're out.
Oh, Lauren.
Oh, yeah, we can say that.
You did.
That was Article 1. To Article 2, to elect one Westfield Town School District Board member for a term of 3 years. Oh, actually, before we get to this, first time too, we have Representative Mark Higley here, and we also have a person running for the VEC board. And at the pleasure, if there's nobody that objects, they've asked if they could say a few words at the beginning of the meeting here. So does anyone object? Okay, Mark, would you like to spend 2 to 3 minutes and say a few words?
Yeah, cut me off.
Okay.
Taxes go down. I appreciate it, folks, and I just came from the evening, they started early, and I hit you, and go to Jay, North Troy, back to Lowell, and actually I try to hit, Irish Bird down to the 6, and then maybe even Newport Center. Because now it's a 2-seat district with Mike Plantown, so there's 8 towns, so appreciate it. I usually try to end things with some good things that we did down there. I just wanna start maybe with a couple of good things. And so we did some tax incentive changes last year. Just wanted to let people know, so if you file for a Vermont Child Tax Credit, the maximum age for qualifying children has been increased from 5 years to 6 years. So that gives you an additional 1 year for kids to file for, that $1,000 per child credit. Earned income tax credit expanded for workers without qualifying children to match 100% of the federal earned income tax credit. That was previously 38%. Social security income, again, there's an exemption now, up to $55,000, for filers, single filers. It was 50,000, so that got raised. And again, it's, for couples filing jointly, it's 70,000, and that's up from 65,000. And then the big one was, we've been trying for many years to exempt military pensions and survivors benefits. We're one of the only states that didn't do that. It's an opportunity to try and keep our service members that serve and keep them here in Vermont, where they don't have to pay for their retirement benefits or survivors benefits if it's a spouse. Again, we got that pretty much through. It's a full exemption up to 125,000 of AGI. And then it goes down from there up to $175,000. And then the last thing on that is there's a Vermont Veterans Tax Credit. So any veteran that makes $25,000 or less qualifies for a $250 refundable credit. So just remember those, and if you need more information on it, reach out to me or whatever. But those are some positive things that I think we did for another positive thing, I think, and it's been in the works for a while, but this year, schools are supposed to have a program for limiting the access for students to use their cell phones. There's certainly options for that for students that need that for one reason or another, whether it's special education things and that sort of stuff. But again, I think that's a positive. Another thing that we're trying to do, you may have heard that New Hampshire did away with their inspection rules on vehicles. We're attempting to do the same thing. New Hampshire's running into a little bit of an issue with air quality issues. We're trying to do a similar thing right now. It's in the Senate, and it looks like maybe every other year. And we're trying to get the DMV to create new rules around what is required for the inspection. In other words, safety issues only, not these things where if you have a rusted finger on your plow truck, you have to spend, $800 to get it fixed up to get it back on the road, that sort of thing. And as you probably are aware, the Vermont State Police, the Sheriff's Department and others, municipal police, that they aren't enforcing it anyway. And there's currently, there's just so many out there, if you'll notice, that just, first of all, can't afford it. And so it's a real issue and we need to work it out. Another issue that I've been heavily involved in, and it was talked about a lot down in Eden, is there's a number of bills that are really trying to tie up all of Vermont's rural lands. There's currently the Wild Lands Bill that's trying to go through. It's going to tie up 286,000 acres of Vermont's state land for no logging and other issues of minimal human interference. It's pretty severe. There's Act 181, which you may have heard about, the road rule. If you put in a 800-foot road or more into your property, it's going to require an Act 250 permit. There's other wildlife corridors and other things that are being mapped out by the state that you aren't going to be able to do anything with. Property owners are having a real concern with that. And then there's the 30 by 30 and 50 by 50 rule. And that's where Vermont initiated, over the governor's veto, conserving 30% of our land by 2030 and 50% by 2050. I put in a bill to include current use land in that. There's 2.5 million acres of current use land. They already have 1.6 million acres conserved, and the total acreage of forest land in Vermont is 5.9. So that would put us over the top for that. The issue is the chair of the committee and others down there don't consider current use land, which is active farm and forest land. They don't consider it permanently conserved. In other words, conserved in perpetuity forever. And I think that's a real issue, and I can go on and on about how it has hurt some of the towns having permanently conserved land. Those are just a few things, and again, reach out to me if you'd like, through my legislative email. My phone number's on the legislative webpage, and I'm happy to hear from anyone. Any questions or?
Any comments? Thank you, Mark.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mark.
For the time.
Thank you, Mark.
We also have Liz Amsden. She is running for VEC Director, and she would like to say a few words. So,
Hi there. I'm new to Vermont. I moved here a year and a half ago to Buck Hill Roads and I love the area. I love the people. I've actually, for a couple of reasons, had to move to Newport Center, so I'll probably do things much later in the day. But I was very involved in Los Angeles in neighborhood councils and systems like that. I care very much about the land. I also care about sustainable energy. And I would like to get involved and give something back to this community that has welcomed me. And at this point, I'm looking for signatures to get me on the ballot. And I will have a fuller explanation of my background, my interests, going out to VEC members later this month, I guess. If anybody would like to sign, my email address is Liz Anson, Liz, sorry, I was born in Montreal. LIZAMSDEN@hotmail.com. Thank you for listening to me, and whatever happens, I wish all the best for the future for everybody, especially at this point. Thank you.
and I probably should have went over. You all have a card that kind of shows how we will operate today. I would ask that cell phones and that stuff be put on airplane mode or something so that we don't have that. Address your questions to me as the moderator, and then I will guide your questions to or ask somebody to answer your questions or find that out as we go along. So any other quick comments or any quick questions before we really get going? Hopefully.
Any new people?
Hmm?
Any new people?
Oh. Any new people that want any description or want to, and you can sign up to vote today too?
Yep.
If you want to, if you're a new person in town and want to sign up to vote.
And they can ask at any time, they can ask for point of
Yeah.
order.
Yeah. If you raise your hand, I will recognize you. If you don't understand what's going on or you want some help with something, just raise your hand and I will give you, I'll recognize you and we'll get you set up with whatever the process is. I kind of skipped over a bunch. This is my first time, so. All right. Article 2 of this is the Westfield School District. Article 2, to elect one Westfield Town District School Board member for a term of 3 years. And I'll take nominations. Okay.
Second.
Okay. You can second the nominations. I'm okay with that, but on a nomination, we don't technically need a second, but if you do it, I'm not gonna care. Okay. It's natural for people to end up saying second and it's fine. All right. Any other nominations? Okay. I think then I can ask the clerk, ask for a motion because there's only one nomination, I can ask the clerk to, because this has to be a paper ballot, to do one ballot for Mary. And
Motion.
I need a motion for that. Can I get, okay, and I do need a second on the motion. There's a second. All those in favor of the clerk casting one ballot to elect one Westfield Town School, which would be Mary Gagne, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. To elect a Union School Board Director to finish 1 year of a 3-year term. This is Article 3. That is currently vacant. Do we have any nominations for the Union School Board Director? So what do we do in that case?
It's passive.
Okay, so in that case, we're just going to pass over that article. We don't have anyone. Article 4. Shall the voters for the town of Westfield School District appropriate the sum of $2,296,195 to defray the expenses and liabilities for the J. Westfield Joint Elementary School for the ensuing year with a net assessment to the town of $976,421. I need a motion to bring this article to the floor. Mike, make motion second. Okay. Any discussion on this? School board is here. Okay, hearing no discussion. This does have to be by a paper ballot. You all have ballots on your seats. A yes vote will be for approval of the budget. A no vote will be a vote down of the budget. And just so you know, we can announce ours here today. However, these are commingled with the town of Jay, and depending on how the commingled vote goes, that's how it will go. Okay, hold on. We do have a question, so can you stand up, give us your name, and then ask your question? Okay.
I think you answered it, but I wanted to make sure that everyone else understood your answer to me. The estimated on the last page, it says increase of homestead value of $133 on the last page of your packet here. In that for the town of Westfield, that represents a 3.4% increase. That's assuming that the governor is going to get his adjusted budget approved. If not, it would be a 7.71% increase, which would be $296 just for the school budget for the elementary school for each resident of Westfield, right? Oh, each home, each property.
That would be the whole school budget. That would be the elementary, the high school, the junior high. That would be what you would be looking at overall. That's if the budget that has been approved by the school boards for the junior high and the high school do get passed by.
So in
the
both
town.
cases, those are higher than both cost of living and higher than inflation rate. Can you explain why those necessary?
So when I'm looking at these percent increases, I go back to, I think it was January, when the governor gave his state of the state address, I believe was in January. He came out and he said he was expecting a 12% increase on school taxes. So when I saw, the tax commissioner put out how much they anticipate to pay per student December 1st, he put that letter out. The numbers were looking like a tax increase of 7.71%. I was fairly happy that it was under the 12%. I said, that's better than what the governor was predicting with his speech in January. And then the governor continued on to do a different address on a different date. I believe that was his budget address. At that stage, he went through kind of where all the monies were going through the state. And he indicated taking 75 million from the general fund and infusing it into the ed fund, similar to what he did the previous year. As the state is also in a really big focus on education and trying to reform education to get this problem down so that the state doesn't need to keep putting those one-time monies in, because we all know one-time monies is just a patch. It's not a fix to the ultimate problem of how are we going to make our schools more affordable, keep our tax rates from going up. So when we're looking at our budget, we kept, and I'm sorry if I'm going above and beyond what you're asking. We have our J. Westfield Elementary School budget. We're looking at a 3.05% increase for just the J Westfield Elementary School. Where I'm going from there. So then, I guess going back to your question. The December 1st tax commissioner, the estimated tax increase was the 7.71. The governor's thinking he's going to infuse 75 million. In the past, that has been the way that it has went. With that, we're looking at $133 increase in your tax bill on a house of a homestead value of 200,000. Does that answer the question? I can open it up for others.
Actually.
Oh, hold on. Just because she's trying to answer for now, we do have another question, and will come back to you after we take another question. Yes.
Kelly B, this is less a question, but maybe a response.
Okay.
Deb, if I can offer
Yep.
something. So I'm a school administrator in the Franklin Northeast Supervisory Union. And part of the conversation that we are continually having about the increases in school budgets across the state is the rising cost of healthcare. And that's a cost that is negotiated at the state level. That is not a cost that can be negotiated at the school level, or at the town level. So that's a cost that is, I wish I knew what the number is. I know that when I was told it as an administrator, at the massive increase that healthcare has gone up this year. And there actually has been some discussion at the state level about pulling that out of budgets and tackling that in a different way. But aside from that, right now it's in our school budgets, and it is a cost that schools have no control over whatsoever. So I don't know what, I'm sure that your business manager has that number, but it is a staggering.
That number is in the handout, the extra handout that we have. It's 7.4% increase for healthcare. It's
This
huge.
is form here. So,
Okay, we're good.
oh,
Go ahead.
just to kind of circle back to Mark's reference to this
I got
sheet,
you.
if you can see it. I think if you look at the fine print at the bottom of the two color-coded blocks, it's a pretty clear reflection that the governor recognizes that real estate influence on the tax rate is very significant, and that the way this adjustment is made is basically to create an offset to the common level of appraisal, the CLA, by bringing a denominator into every town of 0.72 to bring everyone's CLA into a reasonable time frame for adjustment. Westfield in specific numbers had a CLA that was much lower than neighboring towns at 0.55 initially. So where this adjustment comes from is if you take 0.72 and put it in as a denominator to bring that CLA number down to something that would be a reasonable annual adjustment, which makes it, the 3.47 rather than 7.71. This is basically the state's way of saying, if your town was hit with the real estate value increase that makes property taxes kind of an unfair way of determining how much you owe, we're gonna throw 75 million into this equation to try to make this more level playing field from town to town. And Westfield, if you look back through the last 4 or 5 years, has had a really difficult time with the CLA number, which is not really anyone's fault in the town. It's kind of the way the reappraisal cycle happens and how real estate has just, I think, disproportionately affected rural Vermont, honestly, and in certain areas. And so this is their way of saying, we recognize that pain and we're gonna try to offset it with this adjustment with the CLA. So that's how those two numbers came about.
Okay, also, we have a non-voter. The principal at the school is asked if he could stay at the pleasure of the group are you okay with a presentation on this topic also?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah, so I mean, to answer that question directly, I think Kelly spoke to it, is so many factors outside of our control. And our budget increase is that 3.05%. And that is all coming from the health insurance as well as collective bargaining agreement raises for teachers, which are out of our control too. Those are done at the SU level. But definitely the health insurance piece is huge. We thought it was gonna be closer to 16% when we started this budgeting process. So having it at 17.4 is excellent. And the greatest impact to Westfield, like Andy said, is the CLA. That's an adjusted number by the state this year again, which he was referring to, I think. It was like 57% was what Westfield was sitting at before the adjustment. So again, we have control over very small amount of money. When it comes down to it, we don't have control over the assessment from the supervisor union for special education costs or the high school or the junior high. And this is a level service budget. I mean, we're not asking for anything else. We're not asking for any upgrades or anything like that, just what we were doing last year with the increases of those couple of categories. That are again are out of our control. I'd also like to say we have an awesome school. We're providing so many amazing opportunities for kids. For such a small school. Jane is here. She runs a theater program. We have a music teacher now. We've done a winter concert. We're gonna do a spring concert. We love to see everybody. And we just it's an awesome place for kids to be. Thank you.
okay, coming back to you. Sorry.
These are all partial good answers from everybody. But one of the things I'd like to draw attention to is a couple of things that weren't addressed by either of these individuals who spoke up, which is administration costs. Looking at this green page here. Increase of 10% for the administration, education. That's the line item number 5. And also line item 12. So both of those exceed what I was talking about earlier, cost of living increases and inflation rate. So we have a pretty good jump in that. And then when you see it on the other book here, the high school union book, it's even more than that.
Okay, just on the high school union, that is outside of the town of Westfield control. And we can discuss that under the Australian ballot, but they don't have any control over the Australian ballot, which is your high school one.
It's the actual student population of the elementary school.
That is on page,
Sure, yeah.
it's in page 60,
78,
78,
83.
83.
83.
83.
Okay, what is that number?
67 in K to 6, and it's 80. What's the total population of the school?
So there would be
For the elementaries.
for the elementary school total, so it's right on page 65. There's a outline on the side. 83 students total, pre-K through 6. And then it does break that down, pre-K, K to 6 for J, Westfield. It breaks it down into numbers there as well.
So you're asking for $27,000 per child.
Well, there's some nuance to that because of the daily,
Low income level.
yeah,
Yeah.
the, right, that's a long acronym for adjustments according to poverty and rurality and thing. So that number is actually, further down in Article 5, you see that per pupil education spending is 14,653 per
adjusted student.
Adjusted.
The actual student count is added to the low income counts as more than one student.
There's weighting according to poverty and sparsity and
So that's how that figure gets down. It's because you're adding
that was a state
correction.
legislative process from last year. That's right.
Okay. The the real per student, lower it is with the number I was getting on the 7,000.
Yeah, the state does the weights, cause I mean. Our weight for our long-term weighted average daily membership for Westfield is 68.24. Versus last year, it was 61.84. That was on that line 5 that I believe you were referencing, which says a 10.35% increase. That is an increase in the amount of students, the weighted students that Westfield has at the J. Westfield school, and it's a 5-year rolling average because that's how we calculate it as to how much Westfield pays versus J pays.
That's for administration.
ADM is ADM is not administration, it is
Long-term weighted.
long-term weighted
Daily membership.
average daily membership. That is your student count with the weights, that line 5. So then when you go down to that line 12, which you also referenced, that increase is also referring to that weighted student count.
The
not
ADM doesn't
administration.
refer to administration.
Okay, I understand.
Any other questions on the school budget?
I would also like to just comment a little bit about the
Sure.
school as well. I know Hunter, as the principal, obviously is going to say the school is a great school. I have a couple students in the school as well. It is a great school. Being on the school board, I can also hear a little bit more about what's going on in the school. There's a few really great programs. I mean, this day and age is just so different from back even when I was in school. The students take a little tiny assessment and it tells them, and they do it quite frequently. They do this little quick assessment and the computer system comes back with, these are the specific skills that this student is lagging behind on. And then the teacher or an aide or somebody can target that student on those specific skills to try to increase their learning and their levels, which seems great, where they can just target each student and really focus and try to move kids forward. And we do see Mr. Hunter provides the academic progress, and you can definitely see that from fall, where the students might be being tested on the bigger assessments on skills that they haven't learned yet, to winter, you're going from yellow and red and you're getting a lot more green in those. So academics, I feel, are very strong at the school. They're able to focus in on the students that are struggling a little bit, and socially, they have a guidance counselor position filled this year. So socially, there's more supports there. I feel it is a great school.
Yes,
I just want to add.
say your name.
Shelley Martin.
Okay.
I just want to add that the school not only academically is doing great, but socially they are as well. Every year at the senior meals, it's nice to see how the students treasure seniors by creating gifts and participating and sitting with us to show that they value seniors, which is slowly getting lost. Well appreciated.
I'm gonna stand up because I'm short. Many of us here,
Name. Tell us who you are.
Connie LaPlume,
I think
Many of
everybody
us.
knows you anyway. but-
many of us here were here when the school was built. And we've seen it go from day one to what it is now. But I'm gonna tell you a quick story about something that happened years ago. My grandson, who is now 22, was in the first grade up there, and he decided he wanted a mohawk haircut. So I took him up to Cindy Vincent, and he got it clipped, and took him back to school, and he wouldn't get out of the car. And then he said, I'm not going in, and he was crying, hated his haircut. So I went in and I said at the office, I can't get him in here. So his whole class came out to the car and said, oh, we like it, and got him into the school, and he started a fad of mohawk haircuts. They also teach the opposite of bullying. They teach support to the students so that they support each other and encourage each other. And it really is a good school.
Sorry.
Good stuff.
Any other comments?
Make a quick comment. I looked it up today just to see where Jay Westfield.
Yeah, name?
Morrisville.
Okay, I figured most people know, but just say your name when you.
Just to see where we were rated in the state, and Jay Westfield came out number 15 out of 198, so that's pretty good.
You can applaud. We'll take that. Any other comments? Okay, back to where we were. This is by paper ballot. You all should have some in your chair. And the ballot box is up here. You'll have to check in with Jake and Dennis. Are you guys checking in and checking out?
Yeah.
However, and
We need to check you in on the checklist.
yeah, and so we'll have you vote and then we'll get back together here in about 10 or 15 minutes.
First time takes a little longer.
Right. Article 5, shall the voters of Westfield Town School District approve the board to expend $1,277,000, which is the amount the school board has determined to be necessary for the ensuing fiscal year. The district estimates that this proposed budget, if approved, will result in per pupil education spending of $14,653, which is 2.78% lower than per pupil education spending for the current year. Need a motion and a second to bring it to the floor. Okay. Second, Will Young. Any discussion? Okay, this one is a voice vote. So again, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. Okay. Articles 6 through 12, we can discuss. They are Australian ballot votes that if you haven't voted already, you can vote over here. Sometime through the day. Polls are closed at 5.
7.
Polls close at 7. All right. Article 6, to elect a J. Westfield Joint School Treasurer for the school year 2026-2027. And the name on the ballot is Tara Morse. I guess anybody have anything that they want to discuss on that? We don't need to bring that to the floor. It's just a discussion because it's Australian ballot. But is there any comment or anybody have any comments? Or questions? Yeah. Okay. Article 7, to elect the Westfield Town School District Treasurer for the school year 2026-2027. The name on the ballot is Lisa DeLands. Is there any questions or discussion on that point? Okay. Article 8, shall the voters of North Country Union High School District approve this school board to expend $24,273,900, which is the amount the school board has determined to be necessary for the ensuing fiscal year. The North Country Union High School District estimates that this proposed budget, if approved, will result in per pupil education spending of $13,213, which is 3.44% higher than per pupil spending in the current year. Again, any discussion or comment or questions on that article? Article 9, shall the voters of North Country Union High School District approve the Board of School Directors to place $300,000 of undesignated fiscal year 2025 fund balance from the general fund operations in the Capital Improvement Reserve Fund? Any discussion or comments?
That is supposed to be.
Yeah, you okay? You have
Why are they requesting to use it, move it to the capital improvement?
okay, this is is there anybody from the North Country Union School? We don't have a school board director. So I'm not sure if there's anyone here that can answer that. I'm not sure if anyone here can answer or not.
I would just say capital improvement is improvements to the school building itself, right? And the high school is probably going to be needing some capital improvements. But I'm not on that board and I'm not, that would be how I would read that.
Is there anyone representing the high school or the junior high here?
No.
Any other questions or discussion? Okay, and again, those articles that we just read are by Australian ballot. And you can cast your ballot at any time till 7 o'clock tonight. Article 10, shall the voters of North Country, oh, I'm sorry, there's a few more. I forgot to turn a page. Shall the voters of North Country Union Junior High School District approve the school board to expend $7,169,400, which is the amount the school board has determined to be necessary for the ensuing fiscal year. The North Country Union Junior High School District estimates that this proposed budget, if approved, will result in per pupil education spending of $13,594, which is 1.58% higher than per pupil spending for the current year. Any discussion or questions on that one?
They got a 6% increase last year.
I am not sure on that.
And I think in the high school, got a 6% increase in also. On Article 4.
Article 11. Shall the voters of North Country Union Junior High School District approve the Board of School Directors to place $250,000 of undesignated fiscal year 2025 fund balance from the general fund operations in the Building Maintenance Reserve Fund? Any discussion? Or comments?
I would
or
like
questions?
to put it out there. I mean, we do feel like we're a little short on the junior high and high school representation at the moment. There is a position that we passed on Article 3, and that is the junior high representative for our town. If anybody is interested in that, just putting it out there again, that is an open position representing the junior high for the town of Westfield. Just a comment, that's all.
Yep. Article 12, shall the voters of North Country Union Junior High School District approve the Board of School Directors to place $150,000 of undesignated fiscal year 2025 fund balance from the general fund operations in the Field of Dreams Reserve Fund? Any comments or questions on that article?
I just have a comment. If they have all of this money that is undesignated, why isn't it rolled over to lower the request that they?
Good question.
In some cases it is, if you look at the budget line specific for J. Westfield Elementary, there's a certain amount of undesignated money from last year's that is built into the revenues for this year. So that is an option. If there's an article in this, it's because they want to create a fund with that money, and you have to go to the voters to take that and set it aside for future use.
I just wanted to only on a couple of things on the proposed budget. Board of Education, they're asking this year for a 22% increase. 22.5% increase for the Board of Education. The principal's office is asking for a 12% increase. And earlier, someone mentioned that the severe increases in nursing services being around 12%. Actually, on this budget, it's shown that it's 49% increase, which I can appreciate. No, I'm sorry, that's nursing services. For the high school, a huge increase. Evidently, there's no one here that can explain any of this.
I do believe if
Special education programs for 12%, 12.5% increase. Kingdom Force.
The North Country high school board meetings are open to the public. It probably would be the appropriate place for some of those specific questions.
And I am familiar with the Kingdom course if you have a question on that at the high school. That is built in, so students, they're actually getting like an English and or math science credit. And you can join, you can get 2 years out of your 4 years at the high school. And so they're actually doing like outdoor learning. So they're gonna go and they're gonna be in the nature. And so they're actually up at J Peak, they're doing other things besides in school, but then they're going back to their classrooms, they're writing on it in the English. So there's probably a cost for maybe the busing, things like that. That's what the Kingdom course is.
But none of these other questions, there's someone here that will just answer any of those questions.
I don't.
Mark.
Okay,
And LaDonna Dunn. They do also have informational meeting prior to town meeting day, so that would be the place that you would could find out the answers to these questions. The informational meeting, they have an informational meeting before town meetings. So those notices are posted on their website, and also we have them at the town office.
Specifically for the junior high and the high school, which we don't have representation here for, would be the best for those questions.
Yes,
When people speak up, it's hard to hear.
okay, you hear that? Just, yeah, speak up as loud as you can. We don't have a microphone, so. Okay, any other on those Australian ballot, any other questions or comments on the Australian ballot items before we move on? Okay, to transact any other non-binding business which may legally come before this meeting. I don't have anything on the school side. Does anybody else have anything they want to discuss? Okay, if not, I would entertain a motion to adjourn this town school meeting. That was Pauline, and we have a second. Okay, Shelley seconds if we need. All those in favor of adjourning? Opposed? Right.
Funny.
Ask people if they want a break.
Yeah. Does anybody want a break before we start the town meeting, or do you want to push on? Okay.
Okay.
So it's a little different because you do have 2 separate moderator positions. You have one for the school board and one for the town. And so at this point, the school board moderator has been elected and we're shifting to the town meeting. So Jake is going to open the town meeting.
Okay, so it's not my first time. Still don't always get it right. So, first article for the town meeting. First of all, I wanted to say I'm very happy to see the turnout we've got today.
Awesome.
You know, look out there and it's kind of everywhere. Yeah, so that's great. Thank you for that. First article is to elect a moderator. So some of this might seem a little repetitive from the first part, but again, as you've heard, 2 distinct meetings, we have to do it twice. So the floor is open for nominations for moderator. You have a nomination?
I'll nominate Pat Sagley.
Hey, we have a nomination for Pat Sagway. Are there any other nominations? Don't need a second.
But that's okay.
Okay, are there any other nominations? If not, a motion to close nominations and instruct the clerk to cast 1 ballot for Pat Sagway. We have a motion. Is there a second?
Yeah, just not.
Any more discussion? All in favor, say aye. Anyone opposed? The ayes have it. So Pat, hopefully at some point in time, you'll be well enough to get going at this.
Right, and
So-
so you need to
Yeah.
appoint,
Yeah,
So,
the
so
select
Pat,
board needs a vote
yeah,
so
accept the nomination. They've already voted.
Yeah.
So this is.
Yeah,
already
you're
done.
right.
I'll make a
You're already
motion that we appoint Lauren Pencil as the moderator.
for today's meeting. Okay, there's a motion and a second.
this is just the select board has to do that.
Just the select board has to vote this for the moment. For the record,
This is
so we have a
confusing.
motion and a second to appoint Lauren Petzl to do today's town meeting. Any more discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Unanimous.
All right.
Thank you.
Right, again, same thing applies that we talked about earlier as far as how the meeting will operate and how we'll run the meeting. Even though this separate meeting, I just, refer back, I think most of you were here. You've got a card that shows, or a piece of paper that shows kind of how I'll operate and run the meeting. If you have any questions, raise your hand, let me know, I'll recognize you, and we'll try to settle and get it done. And again, if you have any comments on any of the articles, I would ask that you raise your hand, be recognized, address your comments to me, and then we'll make sure that the proper person is able to respond to the questions. So we'll head to Article 2 to hear reports of the town officers. I need a motion and a second to bring it to the floor.
Motion.
Pat Legway, second. Second. Who's that? Who? All right.
So,
Floor is yours.
so before we get into questions on this, I'd like to just take a moment to recognize town clerk for how many years? I was trying to figure that out this morning.
12 and a half.
12 and a half years that LaDonna has been our town clerk, and she was assistant town clerk for 3 years before that. So she's announced that she's retiring this month. So today's the day we need to recognize her. At the end of the meeting, I think Nikki organized a cake, and we hope that we can take a little celebratory. So anyways, LaDonna, as you all know, maybe all of you know her just about as well as I do, but I think it's worth mentioning a few things. She's been the glue that really has held us all together. This town, at least maybe not the whole town, but the select board and the office, everything that's going on in the office. And she's been able to do that in such a way that she can scold you and you're going to thank her. So she's an extremely diplomatic person.
Is that good?
That's good. That's pretty good. And anyways, has a special ability to treat everyone with respect, and also has the ability to work through seeming crises and have a good outcome for everyone. The town office has operated very professionally with a friendly and cooperative tenure during all those years, and we're happy that she's still going to be around as assistant town clerk. That's kind of how we are seeing this progress. The select board will forever be grateful for her professionalism, keeping us organized and making our jobs pleasant at the same time. One of the things that, I know now it's a team, but the town report, I mean, hopefully you guys have all read the town report and seen all the, the hard work that's gone into that, and it's been so well. Our town report has been a beautiful document every year for many. In 2025, our town report was recognized by what organization? The LCP. As for some, really nice town report. There's a nice certificate over there to say that. I mean, I could go on and on, but I think I've hit some of the high points, and we really appreciate all that you've done for us. So thank you.
Thank you.
In the same vein, I was asked, because LaDonna has been, but to read off, we have a bunch of other people that have served a long time, and I've been asked to just read off that list of names. Brian Dunn has been on the Planning Commission for at least 39 years. Danny Young has been a lister for 12 years now. Mike Piper, constable for 22 years. Mike Jacobs has been a constable for 2 years. Jake has been on the select board 47 years. Richard has been on the select board for 34 years. Dennis has been on 3 years now. And Pat Sagley's been moderator for 32 years. And I think, unless one big hand, everybody that serves the town, they deserve it. All right, Article 3, to elect all necessary town officials. Okay, we have, the first one on the list is first constable for a 1-year term. Do we have any nominations?
Nominate Mike Jacobs.
Yes.
My name's Mike Jacobs. Thank you very much, but I decline running for the first constable again. Thank you.
Okay, so Mike has declined. Is there any other nominations? Hearing none, if anybody's interested in the term, they can come to the select board and you could appoint a constable. Correct?
I'm
If
assuming.
somebody
that's correct,
becomes
I think what we're
interested.
gonna do is put everybody's name in a hat and draw one hat.
Just make sure my name's on that. Okay, hearing none, we'll move to second constable. Do we have any nominations for second constable? Yes, Mike?
Mike is not here
Here.
today.
And Mike is declining, though. He's let us know that he does not want to do that. He's declining the nomination.
So could I just say, being a constable, maybe one of the more, I don't know if important, I guess, things that they end up doing is, following up on unregistered dogs, and it's about the it's the most thankless job that anybody could have, and I don't understand why they don't want to do this, and I'm saying that with appreciation for the time that they've spent.
Thank you.
And again, thanks for Mike and thanks to both Mikes for doing that job for several years. Okay, library trustee for a 5-year term. Do we have for second constable? Yeah, any other nominations for second constable? I think I did that, but maybe I did. Okay, we'll move on then to the library trustee for a 5-year term. Any nominations?
Nominate Carolyn.
Okay, Carolyn, you're okay with it?
Okay.
Right, any other nominations for library trustee? Okay, hearing no other nominations, all those in favor of electing Carolyn Lister to a 5-year term, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any nays? The ayes have it. Okay, Lister, a 1-year of an unexpired 3-year term that is currently vacant. I would ask if there's any nominees.
I nominate Dennis Vincent Shelley Martin.
Lister? Lister?
Oh, not as a lister, I thought you said select board.
No, it's Lister. Okay. Erase that. Go back. Nomination for a 1-year term for a Lister.
Nominate Danny Young.
Okay. Danny, do you want to speak to that now or?
Well,
Well, let me go back. Is there any other nominations beyond Danny? Okay, well, let's let Danny speak. And
I am also, my 3-year term as lister is expiring this year. And I have been standing for that term, so I'll decline the nomination for a 1-year term.
okay. Is there any other nominations that Danny is declining? Okay, so again, with the lister position, if anyone does become interested in the lister position, I think again, talk to the select board and they can figure out and we can get somebody in if we can. Okay, then a lister for a 3-year term. Nomination.
I nominate Danny Young.
Okay. Yep. Any other nominations for the 3-year term? And Danny would like to speak a minute,
Yeah.
so we'll let him do that.
I accepted the nomination for the 3-year term. However, reflecting what Lauren said about my past experience, I've been doing this for 12 years. And I need to stop being a lister in the near future. My plan is to help guide the town through the appraisal that is starting in July 1st. And that process will end with the tax bills that will be mailed in probably August of 2027. And after that time, I will no longer be an active lister. If necessary, I would not necessarily resign if a pro forma lister is needed in the interim. But my suggestion is, in view of the lack of interest in filling this position, if we don't have new lister volunteers, I'm going to suggest that the select board initiate procedures to hire an assessor, an outside assessor, to carry on the functions of the lister board. And this is going to be more money, so anyone who's interested in keeping the tax rate down, you can volunteer to be a lister.
As a current lister who is working with Danny, there are several towns that are hiring assessors, and starting pay seems to be around $100,000 a year. So if our town is wanting to spend that money and not have any volunteers, that's pretty much what's gonna happen if we don't start having people interested in contributing.
Great. Well, any other comments? Yes. I'm going up to hear about, say your name.
But you were to volunteer for the 1-year term to decide if you wanted to go on, how would you learn the job?
Danny, can you speak to that a little bit, maybe?
So, I guess you learn the job where the other listers have, and the one you do on any position. And that is to immerse yourself in the job. There are various training programs offered by the state and by the software company that handles our billing and evaluation software. And in fact, Shelley and I just attended a one-day session last week on that topic. So the training to be a lister is, number one, be a lister, be active, present yourself, join in all of the information, be connected to the rest of the office in a positive way, and attend training sessions. And as I say, most of the training sessions now are available as a webinar on the schedule that the state has, and they we can give that schedule if that helps to make the decision.
Okay, I'm gonna go to Romy first because she had her hand up.
I'm curious about how many hours a week this might represent.
3 to 5.
Thank you.
Larry, could you echo the comments from the floor? The rest of us can't
Yep.
do those.
Yep. So Romy asked how many hours per week it would involve, and Shelley responded probably 3 to 5 hours per week.
That's when we're not actively doing, going out and doing inspections. That could take more. Some weeks we don't work at all.
So you're gonna say
Yes.
averages 3 to 5, but some weeks are more
And some
prevalent
are
and
less.
some aren't. Yep. Okay. Any other comments? All right.
Oh, also, when there are trainings, if you take a training and you're new and you feel lost, every training, they say that listers takes up to 3 years to really understand what's going on. So they have the webinars that are taped. So if you're new and you take a class and you feel lost, you can always go back and review it as many times as you need to catch you up.
We did that with Danny.
We did that. I know. All right, any other comments? On the lister position, we are now voting on the 3-year lister position that Danny has been nominated. So all those in favor of Danny?
Need a motion to cast one ballot.
Yeah.
Oh, you're right. Yes, I need a motion to cast one ballot for Danny Young for the 3-year position of lister. Sue Scott? A second? Okay, Shelley? All those in favor of the clerk casting one ballot for the lister position signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. Next is a 3-year position for select person, currently served by Dennis Vincent. I need a motion. Okay, Shelley's motioning for Dennis Vincent. Any other nominations? Okay, hearing no other nominations, I would ask for a motion for the clerk to cast one ballot for Dennis. I assume you're accepting the nomination. Sorry about that. So can I have Sue makes that nomination, a second? Okay. Morse.
I get it.
All those in favor of the clerk casting one ballot for Dennis Vincent signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Article 4, shall the voters approve $32,143.50 for the following appropriations? I'm going to read through the appropriations first, and then if anybody has any discussion on any of those appropriations, please raise your hand and we'll discuss that appropriation individually. But I'm going to read through them first, and then if you want any discussion on any of them, we'll tell me what letter or what appropriation you want, and we can open that one up for discussion.
I would just read each one and ask for one.
All right. Pat is advising me. I'll read it, and if you want any discussion, let me know. Okay. $500 to American Red Cross, and they have a report on page 44. If you're looking for that. Any discussion on $500 to the American Red Cross? Seeing none, I'm moving on. $500 to Connect Abilities, formerly Orleans County Citizen Advocacy. They have a report on page 45. Any comment or discussion on that article? Okay, seeing none. Article C, $100 to Felines and Friends Foundation. They have a report on page 46. Any discussion? Okay. Actually, I need to go back a minute. I need a motion to bring this to the floor, which I didn't get.
Yeah.
I need a motion in a second. Okay, and a second?
Second.
Sorry, you got that? Are you guys okay if I just keep going down through? Sorry, matter. Oh, all those in favor? Never mind. We're good. First time, give you a little break. $1,200 to Green Mountain Farm to School. They have a report on page 47. Any discussion on that one? $50 to Green Up Vermont. Any discussion? $250 to J Focus Group. That's page 50. Sue?
I don't like the fact that we are appropriating funds as much money through the animal shelter as we are to the J Focus Group. The J Focus Group, if you look at page 50, it's amazing the support and the services that they provide. They provide scholarships. They help with afford shelters, so many things that the J Focus Group, I feel we should appropriate more than $250. I mean, if we could somehow not change the, the bottom line, which would only be reflecting, not change in our expenditures, but a change in where we're placing our priorities. I would prefer to see $500 go to the J Focus group.
Okay,
rather than the others.
so the way that we would do that is on this, we would need to amend the amount. And then on whichever one you wanted to reduce, wherever and whenever we got to that one, we would have to reduce that by, make an amendment to reduce that by a like amount, is the way that we would achieve that.
You can't guarantee that.
But yeah, you can't guarantee that the second part will happen because each one is individually voted on.
Would I make a motion to amend the amount for the J?
Yes.
I would like to move that we the amount of appropriation for J Focus group of $500.
Okay, do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, you have a second from Shelley. Okay, any discussion on the motion to increase from $250 to the J Focus group to $500 to the J Focus group? Any discussion on that motion? Okay, all those in favor of increasing the appropriation to the J Focus group from $250 to $500 signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Okay, so we're increasing J Focus group to $500 if somebody can keep track of that for me. Because we'll have to change the amount depending on what happens later. $1,000 to the J Area Food Shelf, they have on page 49. Any discussion or comment?
Sue had brought up to lower the animal shelter to $250 so that our budget remains the same.
Yep.
Since we've already gone past the animal shelter. No,
We haven't.
Never mind.
Okay,
I'm not following the paper, so.
we're good. Yeah, no, we're good.
Take it from the sheriff.
So we're back to $1,000 from the J Area to the J Area Food Shelf. Any discussion on $1,000 J Area Food Shelf? $500 to JP Post number 28 American Legion. They have a report on page 51. Any discussion on that one? $300 to Missisquoi River Basin Association. They have a report on page 52. Any discussion there? $100 to North Country Friends of the Vermont Symphony Orchestra, page 63. Any discussion there? $300 to Northeast Kingdom Council on Aging, page 53. Any discussion? $1,072 to Northeast Kingdom Human Services. That's on page 53 also. Any discussion? $250 to Northeast Kingdom Learning Services, page 54. Okay, $700 to Old Stone House Museum, Orleans County Historical Society, page 55. Any comments or discussion or questions? $500 to the Orleans County Fair Association, page 56. Comments or discussions? $18,426.50 to Orleans County Sheriff's Department. That's on page 57 and 58. Any questions, comments, or discussion? Mike?
I was looking at this comparing to what last year's, I'm sorry, Mike Jacobs.
Yep.
What last year's appropriation was. Last year it was 17,485. This year they're looking for 18,426. Which is a $941 increase. I don't believe they should get that increase. It's my own personal opinion. I don't see them around town a lot, and I've talked to other residents and taxpayers around here. And this is one of the first years I saw that, didn't even see them around prior to town meeting day. So that's a big concern.
Yeah.
And this is as I said, my opinion. You get what you pay for. And Now, how do I want to say this again? I would like to.
could make a motion to amend the amount to a
Make it
certain dollar
motion to
amount.
Amend the amount for what last year's appropriation was, which was $17,485. And eliminate that $941 increase.
Yes.
Mark English, I agree with what Mike's saying, and
We probably should, we need to get a second to his motion first
I
to get it.
second.
Okay, Shelley seconding. Okay, now we're under comment and I'll recognize you for comment. Sorry, just trying to make the order correct.
I agree with Mike's comments. And I would even go further in suggesting this might be where we could recoup our $250 and about $450 less than last year.
Okay, so in order to do that, we would have to, because we have an amount in a motion. If we wanted to increase that, or the body wants to increase that, we would have to vote that motion down. And then make another motion at the even lesser amount if you decide to go that route. Okay, so if that's just out there to the body, if you want to reduce this more, which is kind of what I'm hearing, we would have to, when we take a vote on Mike's motion, we would have to vote that down and then do another motion to increase the decrease. So for the further decrease. Okay, Connie.
The only thing, Connie McClone, the only thing is their insurance rates went up too. Which is
Okay.
probably the increase. And I want somebody to come if I call. I don't care whether it's state police, sheriff's department, who it is, but if I call, I want somebody to come. The hardware store beside us was broken into on Thursday morning. We lived next door and didn't even know it. So it's good to have coverage. Last June, they must have been looking for somebody because they sat across the road every day, all day, just for those 2 weeks. And then last week they were over there. Haven't seen them since last June, but last week they were there every day.
Rest my case.
Yeah. So, LaDonna has a comment.
So I just want to point out how it works. And that is that we contract with them for a certain number of hours per month, and they tell us what that rate is. So if we decrease it, the amount, then it just means we have less hours because their rate is still the same per hour rate.
Do you
So-
have any idea what that hour rate is?
I actually,
67,
yeah,
and that around that range.
700?
65 or
an hour,
$67.
67 in
Yeah.
that
I think
range.
we have 24 hours a month is what last year we contracted for.
I just like to point out to everybody, that there's a breakdown on page 58
Yeah.
of what they did.
He's commenting that on page 58 is a breakdown of where the sheriff's department money went.
Not the money, but what they
Yes,
did.
it's their report. It's their report. Any other comment? So at the present time, we are voting on the amendment to decrease the amount to $17,485. That is what we are voting on currently. The way this would work, if you vote that down, then we would come back and vote on where it is now, because the amendment would fail, and then we would be back to the original amount. Okay, so this is the vote to amend the amount to the new amount. So all those in favor of decreasing the amount to $17,485 signify by saying aye. All those opposed? Okay, so the ayes have it. So now we're going to amend that amount and we're voting, and so we will use the new amount and somebody's going to get me a total and we'll have that new amount in the total. We have reduced what the sheriff will get at this point in time.
Unless they amend it again.
Yeah, well, you can't, it's already been amended.
It's been amended, and so now you
Now
have
we
to
vote.
feel like a double, but then you would.
Right.
Say.
Yeah, okay.
17,485.
Yes, all those in favor of $17,485 to the Orleans Sheriff's Department signify by saying aye. Those opposed? All right. $2,500 to Orleans Essex Visiting Nurse Association and Hospice. Their report is on page 59.
Before we move on, can I ask, on that page 58, it seems to be a really strong focus on traffic stops. And I'm wondering if, that actually reflects what the community's desire is for sheriff, participation, whether that's the main focus or whether we would like them to focus on something else. And if anyone would like to comment, I'd like to add that into our public comments so that people can actually express to the sheriff's department how we would want them to focus. Does anyone have any comments about that?
Well, traffic stops are very important to the community. I mean, you have excessive speeders. Not so much 100, but North Hill, Kennison Road, all the town roads up on Buck Hill. I mean, and that's where the deputy sheriff, the Orleans County Sheriff's Department is contracted by the town. Basically to deal with town enforcement laws. So traffic stops are extremely important. But I would like to see, instead of many warnings given, write tickets. Tickets generate revenue to the town.
Okay, just, Ivan, you have a comment?
Warning is just as bad as a ticket.
It
goes against you.
Oh, I understand that,
Okay.
but monetarily, yep, I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah, okay, just, we wanna, if anybody others got comments, we'll get back. I'm not trying to cut you off, Mike.
No, that's no.
Okay, all right, come back, Mike, just to kind of keep order.
No, but I basically expressed, traffic stops are an important part of enforcement within the town.
My concern is actually more towards drug and other offenses.
Yeah.
Sort of higher offenses.
And we don't have, I don't believe we have anybody from the sheriff's department here.
No, but I just want.
Yeah, yeah, yes.
That I think that we should.
Okay,
Can you repeat the question because people can't hear?
okay. He was just asking, that he would like to see more focus on drug enforcement. Can you guys all hear me?
Yes.
I was seeking input from everybody
But-
here, so that
So-
we can put it on the record, so that we can direct
So,
the sheriff
let's-
department where we'd like to have
Let-
that focus.
If I can make a comment, let's take this to other business at the end. So that we can, and then we can have a better, maybe a discussion at the end, when it's other topics. Just to get it and keep moving here, rather than have the discussion take place at this time. If that's all right with everybody. Okay, $2,500 to Orleans Essex Visiting Nurse Association, VNA and Hospice. That's the report is on 59. Any discussion on that article? $500 to Polk Memorial Frontier Animal Shelter. That's on page 59. Any comment there? Say your name, please.
I'm Sue Scott. I would make a motion to decrease this amount to $250 to reflect our priority to support our people first and our animal shelter second.
Okay, do I have a second to that motion? I have a second. Genevieve. Okay, any discussion on the amendment to reduce the $500 to Polk Frontier Animal Shelter to $250?
Again, they survive almost entirely on donations and fundraisers that they do. The state has cut their funding. So our donations are even more important to them. They do reduced rate spay and neuter clinics. They do a lot of good. And I think we should give them the 500.
Okay, Shelley?
Shelley Martin.
Now get over here.
Since we've already cut money from the budget, for the police, I think the 500 is fine. You won't need to cut that. We get even for this month anymore.
You had a comment?
Yeah, I just, Mark English, I just did the math, we saved $941. Sheriff. So I would think that we would want to donate $500 to the animal shelter.
Okay. Any other comment on the amendment? So if the body wants to get this back up to the $500, we are voting now on the amendment to reduce it. So we would vote that down, either yes or no on the amendment. If you vote it, if the ayes have it, this amount would be reduced to $250. If the nays have it, then it increases back up to $500 and we would vote on the $500 after that. Everybody clear on that, what we're doing? All those in favor of the amendment signify by saying aye. All those opposed to the amendment signify by saying nay. Okay, the nays have it. So, any other discussion on the $500 now? Okay, all those in favor of $500 to the Pope Memorial Frontier Animals Shelter signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, the ayes have it. Or any nays, I should say. Anybody nay on the $500. Okay. $1,000 to prevent child abuse, Vermont. That's on page 60. Any comment on that one? Mike?
So apparently this is a new appropriation this year. This is, I reverted back to.
I would refer to LaDonna on that.
Okay, LaDonna?
Yep.
Okay. And basically reading over what is on page 60, it's something that we already have in our school system right now. You know, or every school should have it, you know, other than, you know, we have school system for the kids and other organizations for adults. And this, I'm thinking they're asking for a pretty good chunk of money being a first time requesting organization. So $1,000 and look back on some of the requests that other local agencies and organizations have requested.
Is that a motion to reduce?
Yes, it is.
Okay, and what amount would you like?
Zero.
Zero? Actually, it wouldn't be zero. If you do want to reduce it to zero, we would just vote down the appropriation. Okay, you can't reduce it to zero.
Oh.
It would just be a nay. And we would vote down the appropriation.
Okay.
Okay, just for clarity.
Thank you. Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna go back there, LaDonna, and then I get. We'll take behind you, Sue, and then Sue, you're next.
Jen Selma, I just have a comment on prevent child abuse of child abuse. I worked for 3 years for Korean and Oriental Center in Morrisville, Vermont, and they offer training to train. So if you have like crisis hotline workers, these folks are helping train those crisis hotline workers to offer service, like to provide services to folks in need, and they're incredible. They've been serving since 1976. So I mean, they might be new to us, but they're not new to the state, and they're an incredible service for folks in the state.
Sue?
Yes, I would make a motion to decrease the amount, not to eliminate it altogether. When I look at their report, it looks like they have reached over 86,000 Vermonters and approximately 7 people in Westfield. So I feel that the $1,000 is a lot considering our percentage of the work they do. 7 people in Westfield have been impacted. I don't know, $1,000 seems to me to be.
If you'd like to amend, do you have an amount?
I move to reduce this appropriation to $500.
Okay.
I'll second it.
Okay, we have a second. I'll get to you, Kelly, in a minute. Okay, we have a motion and a second on reducing it to $500. And now we're still discussing the same thing, Kelly.
Kelly Dean, but I had a comment.
Yep.
So I'm gonna fall back on being a school administrator for going on a couple of decades now. One of the things that we are increasingly seeing in schools is an increase in mental health. and an increase in child abuse. I rely heavily on Access BCS, who is severely underemployed. We rely heavily on accessing mental health services that are severely underemployed. A tremendous amount falls on schools to try to solve, including how to attend to families who are in crisis, children who land in some form of abuse. And it's not something that schools can do to the level that is needed. So I am, as an administrator, am like a loud advocate for trying to include our community partners and resources to support our families, because it really is a true effort by multiple agencies. So I definitely in support of this. If this is an organization that is working with families in the homes, training people to work with families in the homes, that is something we absolutely need.
Ladonna Dunn. In fairness to this organization, they did reach out to us for their first time, and then they reached back out to us again and asked to amend their request to $500. But they missed our deadline. So we couldn't, but I said that I would bring it up if it became an issue at the meeting. So I think Sue's amendment is right on the money with what the organization is requesting.
Any other comments? At this point, we are voting on the amendment to adjust the amount to $500 for prevent child abuse in Vermont. Okay, all those in favor of a $500 to prevent child abuse in Vermont signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The ayes have it. That's adjusted down to 500. $950 to rural community transportation. They are on page 60. Any comments on that one? $500 to Troy and Area Lions Club to run the Westfield Senior Meals Site, page 51. Any comment on the Lions Club appropriation? Connie, think for that?
So the senior meal site, Connie Lafone, the senior meal site's where my heart is. I'm here every Thursday, unless I have an appointment. We have some cooks here today. It takes a town to make the meal site run. And there are a lot of areas for somebody that doesn't wanna be involved in the kitchen can still help. We need somebody to set up the tables. That can be done Wednesday night or Thursday morning. We need somebody to help with the takeouts, and we need somebody to prep food for the cooks. We need help with cleanup. So if you have even an hour once a month for a Thursday to come and help, Denny would appreciate it. Denny is amazing. He runs his place like clockwork. We all get along really good. Romy's business is an amazing help to the meal site. They donate from the time food is available until it is not. So if you have any time, would you talk with Denny and get on our schedule?
Any other comments on $500 to Troy and Area Lions Club?
I just want to support Connie's comments, and I also would like to point out that this has been a center point of a lot of the community activity around it. And it's really important to, especially the elderly that are on fixed income, to have a point together and to meet and to.
Can't hear you.
Yeah. So I'll rephrase. So Mark is offering his support for this, and it's a great place for the community to gather and have a meal on the day.
If you think of any place where you can actually get a nice meal for $4, I'd like to hear about that. We really try hard to support the local community, and I think it's really important for the community to do that.
Okay, Dennis?
Yeah, hi, I'm gonna come and also ask a question to Connie. Connie, where do these appropriations get spent? Is it something, is it in?
I think it was a couple of years ago, the Lions Club gave everything for the town, the refrigerators, the stove, and it was good timing because the refrigerator died a couple of weeks later. But it's used for food, almost 100% for food purchase.
Then I think we ought to raise your appropriation.
Then he won't accept it. Then he wants us to operate. He said the meal site is not in a position to make money. We're in a position to provide food.
So you can survive on $500.
And he can survive on, he would have asked for 1,000 if he needed it.
The Lions Club supports it in other ways.
Are we good on Lions Club?
And I wanna thank you, everybody that's been working and helping the mill site, we appreciate it.
Yeah. Okay, $400 to umbrella. Any comment or questions? $95 for Vermont Center for Independent Living, page 61. Any comment? $250 to Vermont Family Network. That's on page 62. Any comment there? And $200 to Vermont Rural Fire Protection Task Force, Vermont Association of Conservation District, page 62. Any comment on that one? Okay, so now we're coming back to shall the voters approve? Somebody got a new number for me?
Yep,
With 50 cents.
okay. $32,143.50.
That's what it was. That's what it is in the morning.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So it came out the same?
No,
No, I can't.
30,000.
No, it should.
Because the.
Yeah.
$141.
It's, you have 30,952.50.
Okay. So it's $30,952.50.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we're voting on. All those in favor of approving $30,952.50 for those appropriations that we just went over, signify by saying aye. Those opposed? All right, moving on. Article 5, shall the voters approve general government fund expenditures of $484,085.59, which $170,385.59 shall be raised by non-tax revenues and $313,700 shall be raised by municipal taxes. This amount does not include appropriations in Article 4. That's on page 17 to 21. Need a motion and a second to bring that to the floor.
Make a motion to accept Article 5.
Second? Bonnie, second. Any discussion on Article 5?
Yeah, just wanna point out that it's a 9.8% increase in light of the economy in the state of Vermont and Westfield. 9.8% is a lot in general. I do appreciate the work being done by the town, but we do need to take into consideration 9.8% in general. That is a total increase on this, but just with thank you.
Any comment to that? Jason?
You know,
No.
I mean, like I've said at previous town meetings, and I'm speaking for myself, I think for the others as well, please pitch in. We're taxpayers too, and when we tackle these budgets, we go line by line, and we do the best we can. You know, you've heard insurance is up. One of the things, and I'm kind of jumping around a little bit here, but we have an amazing team working in our office. And we need to kind of somewhat keep up with the times for what we pay them, for what we provide for benefits like insurance, what have you. If we don't pay attention to that, somebody's gonna come and poach them away from us. So that's one piece of it. Yes, it's a little, it seems like a high increase, but we believe it's justified. Like I said, we do the best we can. I'm not sure, and if somebody thinks it's too high, if you've taken time to study this line by line, and if you think there's something we shouldn't be doing regarding some of these expenses, I guess we're willing to listen. Yeah.
I just.
Yes, go ahead.
Marco, I just said one thing about the reappraisal expenses.
Yeah, okay, so that's one that, like you heard Dan mention, that's gonna begin this year, that's gonna be a good size one, 20, what is it, how many $1,000? that we're starting to make payments on already, and, you know, that's gonna, go ahead, Dan, I think Dan might help clarify better.
Okay, we're reckoning.
Yeah,
Dan?
it's your job,
Yeah.
so.
That's all right.
The timing on reappraisal is out of our hands.
Yeah.
It is, in the past, it has been determined by the State Department of Taxes, making a comparison between the selling price of properties that sell compared to the valuation we had listed for those parcels. And so based on that discrepancy, which is pretty large for the last 5 years, we have to have a new reappraisal. Starting in 2027, the rules are going to change. Every town is going to have to be reappraised every 6 years, regardless of their sales history. So it's in flux. That 6-year rule, I suspect, will be changed because we don't have the capacity to do that many reappraisals in the state of Vermont. But that's the timing. It's not, in the past, it has not been a passage of time that brings a reappraisal. It is the comparison between the selling price of property and the value that we have on the grade list. So it's looking at how our contribution to the education fund compares to other towns. The next is to make contributions from each municipal, each education municipality to be based, have a similar basis across the state.
So Mark, we get $4,000 a year from the state for the reappraisal. And some of that money's been put aside. We always put it aside every year. So we're using some of that money that you don't have to raise for. If we're just clarifying that we get 4,000 every year.
Okay. Any other comments? Okay. So shall the voters approve the general fund expenditures of $484,085.59, which $173,085.59 shall be raised by non-tax revenues and $313,700 shall be raised by municipal taxes. That is what we're voting on. All those in favor of Article 5 signify by saying aye. Those opposed? Okay. Article 6, shall the voters approve highway fund expenditures of $578,078.02, of which $82,400 shall be raised by non-tax revenues and $495,678.02 shall be raised by municipal taxes. The $495,678.02 includes repayment of the 2025 highway fund deficit of $67,932.02. I need a motion and a second to bring it to the floor. Shelley, first for the motion. Second. Any discussion on the, I'll call it the road budget? Yes. Yeah. Say it. Dave.
Wild and scenic grant actually do.
Yeah. Okay.
So the Upper Missisquoi and the Trot Rivers have the wild and scenic designation, which is a congressional thing that I've talked about here in the past. That started quite a few years ago. There's about $220,000 of federal money that comes to this organization every year. Not us, but the Wild and Scenic Committee. And a lot of that money is put out as grants to towns or to schools. I think the library just received a small grant from them. Westfield has been getting about $10,000 a year for replacing culverts if they're somewhere close to the river and what have you. So that's what that is. That's not, that's a wash. So if you see it as an expense, you'll also see it as an income. It's a grant that we receive.
Any other comments here? Right.
I've looked at Eric a couple of times about this hired equipment, and I wanted to applaud him for keeping our road maintenance fees down. There's been several times when we've done a comparison to actually having to purchase that road equipment, and it would be, staggeringly high. And I think he does pretty well at, keeping that higher expense, reasonable amount. I like to applaud him for that.
So the comment is, a comment to Eric for keeping hired expense as low as possible and really looking, I'm summarizing here a little bit for you, but keeping the expenses down and looking at whether it would hire equipment or whether to purchase and making the right decision there. I'm paraphrasing there a little bit, but that's what your comment is, correct?
Correct.
Just so that people can hear. Okay, any other comments? All right. Article 6, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, Article 7, shall the voters authorize the town treasurer pursuant to 32 VSA section 4791 to collect current taxes? You need a motion and a second to bring it to the floor. Pat, need a motion? Somebody get a second? I didn't. Will second. Any comments on authorizing the treasurer to collect the taxes? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposition? Okay. Article 8, shall the voters authorize payment of real property taxes before 4 p.m. on the last Thursday? Sorry. That was quick. Let me redo that. Shall the voters authorize payment of real property taxes before 4 p.m. on the first Thursday each October by physical or electronic delivery to the town treasury? Postmarks are not accepted. I need a motion in a second.
Motion to accept Article 8.
That was Pat. No second. Ms. Pauline. Any comment? All those in favor of Article 6 signify by, or Article 8, I can't read anymore. Article 8 signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All right.
Opposed.
Any opposed? Okay, Article 9 is to transact any other binding business which may legally come before this meeting. If we can bring that, I do have Carrie Glessner would like to make a comment, if it's okay with the public, about the broadband in that coming into town. Is everybody okay with that?
Yep.
Yeah.
So Carrie, floor is yours.
Which is our municipal internet. It's called NK Broadband. You may have seen trucks around putting up internet over the last year. There's now service available to the majority of the roads in town, so you can go to their website and sign up for that. The main thing I wanted to bring to folks' attention was that we currently have some grant money available. It's gonna run out, I believe, in September for free installation of internet to your home if your power runs underground. So I know for many of us, we were not signing up because we couldn't connect aerially, which was the free way to get connected. Now you can get it connected for free underground, but it might be for a limited amount of time. So that's a good thing to check on. If you are interested in having internet service to your home, this is broadband fiber internet. And it's not available for your home yet. You should still sign up for it because that will help bump our town up the list of who gets service. And if you want to see if services available at your house, I have a list of addresses that are covered with here, so after. Yeah.
Does the internet service include packages like telephone and TV?
It does, yeah. It doesn't include TV, but it does include phone if you want it. And the nice thing about this is municipally owned, so if we're able to bring costs down, that will be passed along to customers, kind of like, any other internet service. And then I just, real quick, I'm also on the library board, and so I want to encourage all of you who haven't been to the library lately. We're getting a bunch of excellent work done on the building right now. We had a grant for that. And we also did a big renovation on the youth room. It was great. I want to thank Richard a lot for his help on making our shelves in there. It's awesome. So yeah, swing by the library. There's a lot of great stuff going on. There's some information over here about programs to get online books for free, which you can do through the library. And if you have any questions about that, you can ask me about that too. Yeah.
You offer a discount for seniors?
On the internet. I don't believe so, but there are some programs for low income.
Say it's free.
Hmm?
I should say it's free.
We have four
No.
of the
No.
library trustees here at the town meeting, so if anybody has any questions for us. I'm the trustee, Carrie, Jen Selma, and Carolyn. We have Rebecca. Rebecca, yeah.
Rebecca.
Whatever. She's on there, she's on too, but she's not able.
Is there any, yes,
Isn't Jennifer Johnson?
She's already left.
She's already left,
Okay, we have 4 or 5 applicants right now, very well qualified, that we will be interviewing this month.
anything else anybody wants to bring up for the meeting?
I just want to clarify what Carrie said about it being a municipality. It's its own municipality. So you can't come to the town office and sign up for it. Just so you know.
Yeah, if you want to sign up, there's a bunch of information on the table over here for signing up. And there's also some paper sign up sheets that you can fill out and give them to me, and then I'll put it in online for you if you don't have the internet now.
You want to talk about the signs?
Yes.
Yeah. LaDonna wants to talk a bit about what's one of your packet things.
The little green tealish papers on your seats is a new program that we're starting. It was brought up to the select board by Roger Goslin. He is the our representative on the ambulance board, and he's also serving now as the 911 coordinator. So this is a program that we're going to make these signs, the reflective signs that go on your mailbox, or they can be posted on a tree depending on, you know, what your situation is. We can make them. We're making them at the office. So if you are interested, you would fill these out, and the prices are on the back of the sheet and the order forms on the back of the sheet. And then we would make them and you would pick them up from the office. So they start at $9 and $14. And if you want two-sided, it's an additional $2. And it's really important because a lot of the 911 services, I hate to say it, but have a scanner.
Yeah.
And it's amazing that they can't find the houses. It's actually sad. So it's a really good way for you to be protected and to get help to you as soon as possible. And we're gonna try it in Westfield, and if it goes well here, then we're gonna offer it to our other towns around us. So we're not trying to make money on this. We're just trying to basically break even and cover staff time.
Okay, yeah. I've been in and I'll come in.
Want to help?
You can put it on the house. Yep.
So it's like a reflective sign, like you see the road signs. They're green, you get your numbers on them. I don't want to interrupt until Don's doing a good job, but
Yeah.
the 911 wants it for the mailbox or your tree or whatever by your house. People can see it. No, you probably can put them in your house. We can ask.
Yeah.
So if you ride around, you'll see there's different towns get them. I've been spotted them lately. As I noticed that it came brought up to from Roger brought it up to us. You see them everywhere now. I mean, I see them pop up on mailboxes and a tree or post, whatever, by your driveway. It's perfect for the 911 calls, for the ambulance and the firemen.
Okay, we're gonna come over here first.
I had an incident a couple years ago where I fell in the night and broke my arm. And I called 911 and I had a sign on the house, and I had actually painted on my mailbox. But they drove by my house 4 times before they found my house. And my lights were on and everything,
Yep.
2 o'clock in the morning, but, so I got my sign at that time from the ambulance service, and they're being their mind, because there's no way I want that to happen again, and it wasn't crucial, it's not like I was in a dying situation, but I waited almost 40 minutes for them to come to the house and it was a lot of pain, but.
Ivan, I'm gonna come back, Ivan. What size are they? They're on the back.
It's on the back.
If you look on
I'm
that-
sorry, we meant to have a sample, but we just ran out of time to make some up.
They're probably 4 inches, 4 to 5 inches wide, probably 16 to 18 inches long.
Have them up there?
I think Ladonna will have samples at the town clerk's office. If you want. Connie, did you have another comment?
We're gonna make some for the town office too, for like
For our mailbox.
mailbox and all that, and we'll have you guys see them, but I think it's very important to have them.
Any other comments? Okay, I'm gonna go to Connie and then I'll come back to you.
Is today your last day as town clerk, Ladonna?
Nope, the end of the month.
Okay, can you introduce the incoming replacement, please?
Well, my goal is to, and Nikki hates to be put in the spotlight, but here we go, Nikki. Gotta get used to it. So I will be resigning before my term is up. And that leaves it to the select board, but we've been working on this for a couple of years. Nikki's actually been going on 4 years working with us. She started as clerk for the select board and taking their minutes. And then it evolved into doing some special projects in the office, including digitizing all of our land records. And I finally twisted her arm enough to train her to hopefully be my replacement, but that is up to the select board. So I'm strongly twisting their arms, and it doesn't take much twisting to appoint her as my replacement. So she would, if this all happens, then she would be appointed until the next town meeting, at which time she would run for my unexpired term, which is 1 year. And then the year after that, she would have to run again for 3 years. So nobody scare
So
her
be nice
away.
to her.
You had a comment?
So as you pass, Salazar to pass out flyers for the J Focus group. They're holding a fundraiser at the end of May, and these are the dates and times. They're looking for used goods to support the J Focus.
Okay. Yes.
We're totally unrelated, but also vital to our town finances is our health, our system of paying for healthcare in this state. And there are a number of towns in southern Vermont that have an article on their town meeting to strongly urge state authorities to finally move in the direction of universal health care. That is the same change in healthcare is one of the very biggest elements of school board expenses. And in my opinion, we should not be paying for our health care to the school board. We should be paying for the health care of the workers in a separate, in some other fashion. And the most logical fashion to me is have some universal health care. So each of us can make some effort to move this question forward. It's been under consideration for decades in Vermont. And it seems like we really need to make some actual progress, not just talk about progress. And so I would strongly recommend that everybody contact the legislators, contact the governor's office, contact the care board, and strongly push to try to get health funding
For
brought
municipalities.
up to date with what the rest of the world does.
Yeah.
We're the only advanced
Yep.
economic unit in the world that does our healthcare this way. We pay for it this way.
Okay.
And it doesn't, that doesn't make sense. So
And
Equitable.
to do it, to, Danny, just to kind of summarize, call who you want to try to promote the, more of a one care system or one health system. Okay. Any other comment?
The advisory vote, for the select board to tell the state administration that Westfield would be in support of.
Is that something you want to do?
I don't think we can take votes.
No, you can, it would be an advisory vote. It's just, you wouldn't have to act on it legally. Legally, it's not a vote. It's just the town, whether the town is supporting some sort and urging some action taken, but it doesn't mean that action has to be taken. Because this, it's not warned. It's not warned, is it? So it's just an advisory, as you said, it's an advisory vote. It's just a.
State,
So, yeah.
town of Westfield sending a letter to the state saying the town of Westfield.
Okay, just, Shelley?
On the website, we have a statement saying that our town does not discriminate. I would think that that would be a perfect place to say our town supports universal health care.
That would be something that they would have to vote. So just by a quick show of our eye, because this isn't a real vote, so anybody in favor of the selectmen possibly looking into it, signify by saying aye. Opposed?
Oh,
Okay. The ayes have it, so I would just leave it at you guys to look into it and do what you can. But that is not a formal vote saying that they have to do it or anything like that. Just want to be clear, it's just the town voicing their opinion. Annie?
Make a motion, we adjourn.
I second, that's okay.
All those in favor of adjourning?
Yeah.
Just to remind